Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller,
And I'm Candace, educator turned entrepreneur.
and you're listening to
Not nice, clever.
We're two introverts who speak on stages around the country and work with top personal brands who also unapologetically require 24 to 48 hours of recovery time on the couch in our favorite sweats, all Netflix and no chill.
And to be clear, we're not quiet or nice. Together, we're redefining what it means to be an introvert who means business. It's time to show up and show off. Are you in?
Tiffany McQuaid is an innovator, nationally recognized for building one of the most well-known independent real estate brokerages with big agency power. She is president of McQuaid Company Real Estate Services and most recently a published author of her first book, The Nth Degree. She's based in Naples and you can find her globally at tiffanymcquaid.com. And we could not be more excited to introduce to you this incredible ray of light and powerhouse of a human. Let's get to it. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Tiffany. We're so excited to introduce you to what we lovingly call here the Clever Crew. It's our listeners, it's our people, it's our ambassadors, our cheerleaders, and you guys, Clever Crew, are in for a treat today. Tiffany is, it feels weird to just call you a client. You're definitely very much a friend. And our journey, we met initially through Ryan. And I think it's so funny now, from when I drove that day from Miami to Naples, where your brokerage, McQuaid and Co. is, and then to having Ryan speak. And now we're fast forwarding, a year and a half later on the heels of your book launch, which is
Right.
incredible, The Nth Degree.
Thank you.
And I just want to get right into it. I think the book is such a beautiful place to start to get to know you because you put so much of you into it. And so just I know it's not an easy question to answer, but really just kind of like share with us the inspiration for it, the driving force behind it, and let's just start there today.
Okay, the inspiration for it.
Exactly. I'm using one of the
Well,
keys.
right. Well, and the book is called The Nth Degree: How to Stand Out by Going All In. And each key, there's 7 total keys, and each of them start with the word in. So everything from intrepidness to influence to invigoration. So there's a variety, and I think this is probably the perfect platform for me to be talking about the book. The fact that you reference and the title of your podcast involves clever,
Mhm.
because I think that is probably one of the biggest keys to what I've been able to do is utilize, a little bit of cleverness to turn and to take something from good to great. So I think that's an important word to me for both business and life,
For everything, right?
right?
Yes. So, talk to us about how you go from being a businesswoman, a real estate broker, to deciding that you are going to put pen to paper or click away on your typewriter or like go on your
We're
laptop
gonna
and
leave that one in.
actually, yeah, leave that one. Go on your laptop and actually like write a book. Like, what
Yeah.
was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, the transition.
Well, I think that anytime you have a journey like this, and especially when we all have our stuff, right?
Mhm.
I feel
Oh, our
like,
shit, you mean?
Yeah, you can
yes, we
swear, by
all
the
have our
way.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
We all
Yeah.
have had our shit. And the older you get, the more you have, and that's the reality. And, my shit started a little younger than probably most, but
Mhm.
maybe not, and I recognized that a major life dynamic that happened to me when I was 10, I internalized it, I suppressed it the majority of my life, but every fiber of my being, of who I am, is, I can affirmatively say, as a direct result of that experience. And, I've evolved through it. And I think what I've learned over all these years is that a lot of times our shit, we can harbor it and it can sit on our shoulders and we can get hard.
Mhm.
And then it becomes
Mm.
a part of our story, our day to day story. But I think we have a choice. We have a choice to say, you know what? This happened to me, but I'm not going to make it part of my story. And instead, what I'm going to use or do is use it as a catapult to go that opposite direction. So the hurt and the pain, how can I channel that into something different, something better, something greater? How can I take, the hurt and all the things that have happened and turn them into strength and resilience and intrepidness, and utilize those things to be a better person, to be a better business person, whether you're working for someone or doing your own thing or in real estate, whatever it is. There's so many opportunities for us to take what has happened to us in our story and turn that around. And I think we forget that because we maneuver through the day to day. And exactly that. We are going through the day to day. We live in a world of distraction and reaction. That's how we are. We're constantly distracted by emails, the tings of our phones, the texts coming in. Is my battery low? Do I need to charge it? Who's calling now? Oh my God, email after email after email, junk, clutter, whatever. Our lives are full on distraction and reaction. And the reality is that through all of that, we've lost sight of intention and the ability to get up. We have a choice every day that we can get up and make a choice on how we're going to start our day. And we can intentionally set the tone for that day, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, it's getting out of bed and focusing on you, not looking at the phone, not seeing who messaged you in the middle of the night or what you missed, but instead putting distraction away for a little bit and saying, you know what? I can only be my best self
Mhm.
when I get up and focus on me for a little bit. And again, through, all these years of just seeing everything evolving, we've kind of learned that it's a good thing to focus on others first. Well, you can't. You can't. And we have to give ourselves permission to focus in on ourselves first, because you can't be good for or to anyone else if you're not good to you, if you're not valuing you and taking care of you and giving yourself some quiet time to refocus and recalibrate or set the stage for the day. And I've learned all these tools over the years through necessity,
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. And not only, going through my life dynamic, but then evolving the business. And, people don't tell you a lot of these things when you're in the thick of building a business. I've listened to just about everything. I've read just about everything possible about the entrepreneurial journey. There's always the basics, but there's little voids that happen to you on the day to day that nobody tells you about. And those tend to be fear based. What if I fail? What if I fall? What if I can't meet payroll? What if I don't have enough to keep the lights on?
Yeah.
What if these people depending on me, what if I let them down? What if I let me down? You know, those
Yeah.
what ifs have the potential to destroy or hinder everything that you're working so hard for, because it's like a wall. It's a wall of what ifs.
Mhm.
And you're going through your day to day and that questioning, that little negative little on your shoulder, the
Yeah.
negative harping at you has the potential to derail. I think that's why many businesses fail so young and, so early on. We all see the statistics. New business lasts what, 2, maybe 3 years on average. If you make it 10 years, okay,
Now
you've
you
got
have to
greater
innovate, like,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, yes. So it's a journey. We're all in a journey, but I think a lot of times we forget the most important parts. And that's what I'm kind of covering in the book and what I'm hoping to share and just reignite inspiration to think a little different and to appreciate things a little differently.
So at Not Nice Clever, we love talking about kind of the messy middle.
Ooh.
So while you were going through iterations, I imagine many iterations of different pieces of the book. Did you have that same experience that you have had while you're building your business of like, what if this doesn't work? Who am I to do this? Like that kind of thing. And
The
can
who
you
am
talk to us a little
I?
bit about
Ooh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we have that again all through our lives, right? Various stages of our lives. If you're in high school, who am I to be, whatever it would be.
Hmm.
But yes, absolutely. Who am I to be offering advice and or input?
Mhm.
But what I learned actually during COVID lockdown, and this is what inspired it. During COVID lockdown, for years, 12 years, maybe 13, I've been posting like something positive almost every morning on social media for all these years. And I've done it mostly for me because it's typically something that I need to hear for that day. But I figure if I need to hear it, someone else does, and I put my own little shtick with it, and stuff when I write it or post it. But the reality is that during that time frame, we were all in lockdown. I was getting so much outreach. It was overwhelming. People DMing me that I've never even met before, sending me emails and messages saying, "How are you staying positive through this?" Because, of course, I continued. And during that time, I was posting even a little more. And
Mhm.
it was just, tell me what you're doing. I mean, I wasn't qualified to guide anyone, but all I knew was what was working for me. So I started just kind of sharing, okay, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm focusing on. And the outreach and the people just saying that helped me so much, what's next? What
Hmm.
else can I do? Give me something else. And I just throw out little nuggets. And it was really overwhelming and inspiring. To see that. And then, again, step 2 is on this entrepreneurial journey, and that, like I said, there's so many voids that people don't tell you about. And I have friends, many friends, or people who I've become friends with that are also going through the same thing. And I find myself helping them fill those little voids. And then thirdly, the fact that, again, we all have our shit. And some of mine, it really inspired me because I never shared my story before of my dynamic of what happened when I was 10 and my father committed suicide on Christmas Day. And there's a whole story behind it that altered the course of my life. And again, we come out of COVID, suicide rates are increasing,
Mental
average
health. Yeah.
age of that happening is lowering. Social media, people are being so hard on each other, that 50-50 split of negative and positive. And these young kids, I can't even imagine dealing with that and growing up in today's world. But I just felt that despite or in spite of maybe my qualifications to say, yes, I'm qualified to write this book, all I'm doing is sharing what I know and what I've learned. And I've listened, I've participated in a million different things from Tony Robbins to Abraham Hicks. I spend a good probably 3-4 hours a day on my mental capacity. That's listening to things, reading things, starting early in the morning to my drive in, to my drive home. I'll even break during the day and do things and listen to things.
Hmm.
So I feel like in my mental Olympics of trying to train my head
I
to
love that
stay and
phrase.
focus in on positive, I feel like I've got some things to share, and let me Cliff's notes it for you, for those of us old
Yeah.
enough to remember Cliff's Notes.
I'm just on that brink. I know what you're talking about.
But just let me narrow it down. And if you can pull a few little nuggets out of it that can just help give you a little more hope in your day to day or moment to moment, that was the intention. And that messy middle, I didn't really experience going through the process because we were writing, and Bruce was Littlefield, who I collaborated with, is so amazing and so dynamic. And we've probably got enough content for a few more books, but he so beautifully pulled the key things out and pieced them all together. for most impact. But I was okay with every step of it and enjoying the journey until it released.
Oh,
Now
wait, wait,
Ooh.
I'm
wait. You got to
shaking
tell
in
us
my
about
Yeah.
booties,
this.
like,
In
Okay.
her
because
booties.
it's that oh shit moment.
Right. It's
It's
out
out
Yeah.
there.
there. People
Yeah.
are reading it. And, again, let's be honest. Some are going to judge,
Yeah.
some are going to
Oh, yeah.
support. You don't know
Yep.
which way it's going to go. And again, I've worked so hard on my mental capacity to stay positive and be as full of light as I possibly can on the
Yeah.
daily basis that
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about how is this going to affect all my hard work, if the negative Nellies step up and have things to say, or with any luck, it's going to be words of positivity and, you helped me or gave me that hope. So that's what I zeroed and dialed in on is the hope part and not the others. So,
I think it's important for any creator, no matter what author, video content creator, whatever you're creating, to know that it's always going to be both. Like, it's unavoidable for someone not to say something terrible because they have not yet worked on themselves.
yeah,
Right. And you're bringing
And
to light what they
yeah, you're
haven't
bringing to
worked
light.
yeah,
on.
yeah,
And so I think every person who has been vulnerable and put themselves out there and shared their story will at some point receive negative comments. And that's just part of it. But I think that the beautiful part of it is that you're doing it anyways. And you know that you're going to impact someone in a positive way who has had similar experiences, or maybe even not similar experiences, but some kind of tragedy that they want to heal from.
Mhm.
yeah. And it could be anything, I've had
Yeah.
the gamut. So, so I think I will tell you going through what I went through at 10 and it was 1980, when that happened to me. And in 1980, there really wasn't therapists, you know, none of my friends back then, divorce wasn't as prevalent. So my friends had their parents. I and my sister were being raised now by a single mom who loved us to bits, and she passed over 20 years ago. So we lost her young too. But, the thing about that was there was no relatability. I had nobody that I could say, oh, they get me, or that I could speak with or feel safe with. It was just you internalized it. And back then, again, suicide was a different thing. Not that nobody wants this.
No, but the
It's
conversation
But maybe
around
even more
awareness.
taboo to
Yes.
talk about it.
exactly the
Mhm.
Yeah.
stigma was such. And for my family, my dad's mother had four sisters, and the majority of them all married Italian men. And the entire family, we were raised Catholic. And, in that world, suicide, was not positively looked upon.
Mhm.
And so there became a fear to where, the family for us just kind of, I don't want to say disown, that's not the appropriate word, but they just acted like he never existed. So therefore, we didn't exist. So we weren't included in the usual family,
Get
holiday
togethers.
Oh,
Yeah.
functions,
wow.
which we looked forward to so much. We had a great
Right.
big family at that time.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot to deal with and to process, but again, as time's going on, I think we all need some relatability. Of course, we have access now to
In
whether
our
it's
phones,
virtually
it's
or in
crazy. Yeah.
person. Yeah, we have access now to help, right?
Mhm.
But there's still a need for someone that you can read about or see or listen to and feel like they get me, whether you know them or not. It's that
Yep.
connection piece. And I think that makes all the difference.
It's everything. And honestly, I don't think, like, in all the people that I've met and all the people that I have yet to meet, the ones who are so incredible at finding the silver linings, the ones who are just so optimistic and positive, like we love that. Negative will come, like we don't need to invite it, like but those individuals, I remember thinking years ago, oh, well, they must have never had anything happen to them because they're so happy, because they're so optimistic. That was my bias
Yeah.
because the messy middle, right? So my messy middle right now has been looking back where I am in my life in my 20s. And Tiffany, I also lost my aunt to similar circumstances as your dad. And I had you never said that or shared that story, I know we're friends and we resonate, but like there are things that bring you together with people because you have that shared suffering, that shared common ground. And I remember thinking years ago, not looking for the silver lining, but now the older I get and the more people I meet, it's the people that have had some really insane, tragic things happen to them, and yet they choose to look for the good and they choose to still be positive and to not let themselves become a victim of their circumstance or continue to spread that. And I think you're right, it's a choice. It's entirely within your control what you do with it.
Yes.
And simple, but not easy, but worth it in the
Hmm.
end. Truly.
You're out there building your personal brand and you also have a team relying on you. But if your people don't know how to fish for themselves, the burden of new business always falls on you. Ouch, no thanks.
The opportunity we see, teach your team how to generate their own business.
The result, more time and energy back in your day so you can scale sans burnout.
Amplify by Not Nice Clever is the ace up your sleeve, a hands-on workshop full of replicable frameworks and actionable strategies that your team can put in place right away.
Your job? Sit back and let us work our magic.
Even CEOs need help sometimes. We've got you. Head to our show notes to get the deets. #outsourced.
Well, and you know what at least from my personal experience, and I think anybody, and it sounds like you can totally relate and agree with this as well, but I found that for me, it's that I've hurt so much that I don't intentionally ever want to see anyone hurt like that, and I want to be a bit of a light
Mm-hmm.
and uplift where I can,
Yeah.
you know? And it's a like I said, it's a lot of work to do that, but I feel that that's my intention here on earth, is that take what's happened and just show people that you don't have to you can curl up in a fetal position when it happens and stay in bed for a day, but I've learned that I only give myself a day. When something bad happens, I only give myself that day, and that next day I wake up and just try to baby step my way through trying to, just work through it. But, again, we can all become hard when bad things happen, bad, bitter divorce or, death or whatever it would be. We all have the opportunity and the capacity to harden our hearts and feel like the world is coming at us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but why? Why? We were
Yeah.
born to be in joy. We were all
Yeah.
born to be in joy. When we were young and we were playing, all we could think about was what we were going to play next, right? That's all we wanted, joy, joy, joy. And then life hit us. We aged. We couldn't wait to grow up. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh God, I
The
just want to
hell
be a
were we
kid again.
thinking?
Yeah,
Like,
I know, right? I just want to be outside playing games. But as life hits us, that's when things change and they alter. And we can either choose to harden or we can choose to soften and, be more of a light.
You mentioned Abraham Hicks, and I listen
Yes.
to
Candace
Abraham Hicks.
loves
Oh,
Abraham
Yes,
Hicks.
I love them. Um,
yes.
pretty much every morning on my walks, I
You
listen. And
too.
yeah, and
I
today I was
love it.
listening. I put on YouTube and I just listen.
Yep.
And um, they were talking about how you always think that if you have this thing, whatever the next thing is, right? This house or this job
Yeah.
or this child, whatever it is, you're like, if I have that, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is that you get to choose happiness. Like right now in this moment, you get to
Yeah.
decide that you are happy or
Right.
that you can do tiny little things to make yourself more joyful in that moment.
Yeah.
And actually, what that does is opens you up for all of the good things that you want to flow through. And you
Oh,
know that
yes.
at Not Nice Clever, we talk about branding, marketing, money, and manifesting. And a
Yeah.
huge part of what I feel like I've done in my life to get here and to talk to you, beautiful women, is manifesting, is
Yeah.
putting it out there that I want to have this platform. I want to create this space. I want to, even when I didn't know how,
Figure it out.
and
We're
just
learning all the time.
figuring it
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
still having the energy like this is going to come to me
Yeah.
has been a huge part of this. So everyone who's listening, the Clever Crew, I basically manifested you. So
You're
thanks for
welcome.
being here.
Well, I agree 3000%. And actually, I think this is probably good to share since we're talking about Abraham Hicks. And,
Please.
same thing. I'm a believer that whatever pops up at the top of my YouTube is what I need to hear for the day, for that. And, I'll listen to several. But one of the best stories that I think that they share is the talk about, and I think this is so brilliant for life and especially for entrepreneurs, but visualizing yourself like there's something you want or that you need, and you're on the side of a river, a very powerful river, and you're on the edge. And in my vision, I've got a red inner tube around
Of
me.
course it's red.
And, I've got the full visual. And I always think to myself, before, if there's anything that I desire, I think to myself, okay, I put it out there and then I visualize jumping in that river. And am I going to jump in and paddle like heck against the current to make it happen? Or am I going to jump in and surrender and trust and go with the flow and allow the universe to allow it to happen?
Mhm.
And you still do the work, but the difference is you're not fighting, because when you're fighting against the current, it's like having your arms tight at your side.
You're closed off.
You're closed off, so nothing can come in. And people forget about that. They feel like if there's something that they want or desire, that they've got to fight to make it happen. It's not the fight that makes it happen, it's the release. And I think ultimately what happens in the entrepreneur journey, essentially is so many people that I've witnessed, and myself included at the onset, is they'll work like crazy. 20-hour days, they're doing whatever it takes, whatever it takes. And that's all well and good. But in that pursuit, you're completely closed off. And when you finally kind of wear down and you're just exhausted,
There's no other option. Yeah.
there's no
No.
other
You're
option.
like,
So you
well.
have to surrender. And it's in that surrender that everything comes to you,
Mhm.
and that's what gets you to the next step.
Absolutely. And for me, I think the part that feels most relevant to me right now in like the last 6 months probably is that I always felt like I had to do everything myself.
Hmm.
And so surrendering opportunities for people to fill in where I need help has been kind of what I've been focusing on. And I think that's huge because I at some points I was like white knuckling it, like holding on, thinking that I'm the only person that can do all these things, send these emails, respond to these people, whatever it is. Like if
Yeah.
I'm the only one, I'm definitely closing myself off to what's possible. And
Yep.
if I trust and allow people to support me in ways that feel really good, actually what that does is allow me to expand, to support even more people, to do things that I probably haven't even dreamed of yet, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. You can like white knuckle your business and
Yeah.
actually close yourself off to what's possible.
Well, and in that close off, that is such an incredible point. In that close off, you're not noticing the signs. If you're asking for something and you're working so hard for it, the universe gives you signs. But I think in that distraction and reaction world that
Right.
we're
Are you
in, you're,
aware?
yeah, are you aware and are you open to receiving them? I had a huge
Mhm.
one that just kind of catapult my complete belief in signs and in the incredible power of the universe. But it's those signs, those magical little moments, whether it's I have a few signs that I ask for, one for my mom, and it's a cardinal, a red cardinal. I have a white plastic bag that drifts through the wind and it hits my car all the time when I ask for it. I've had people in the car, many people in the car with me when it happens. And of course they don't know that, I've just asked for that. But it's crazy things that you can ask for and put out there, to see a shiny penny, a feather, whatever it would be. And we're constantly being given signs. And whether it's in life or your work or your business, you kind of need those, because it gives you guidance that you're on the right path. And if you're not noticing the little things in life and appreciating the little things, the freshly mowed grass, just the morning chirp of the birds, maybe a little cool undertone in the air, in the morning.
She's from Florida.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, can we record our
That's
next
a
few
Florida thing.
episodes in
That's a Florida
Florida?
thing.
Like, Tiffany, we're going to commandeer your podcast studio at McQuaid Co. No big deal.
Yeah. But, it's those little things that
Yeah.
we stop appreciating because we're so thick into the grind. And it's
Distracted,
those,
Yep.
it's those little things that keep us moving and bring the joy. It's just a quick little bit of joy.
So
And
if you listen to Abraham Hicks, you know that a story of
yes,
blue glass and
yes,
feathers.
butterflies and yeah.
Yeah, all of that. So the beginning of this year, I did Gabrielle Bernstein's 21-day manifesting
I did
challenge.
too.
Oh
Did
my
you?
gosh.
Okay,
I
great.
do manifestation and the meditation
I love
challenge. Yeah.
this. Where was
I
my
love it.
invitation, ladies? Come on now.
You need to do this, Kat.
I
We're going to
will.
send you
do
an
it.
invite to
I'll
do it.
And side note, Super Attractor was a book that
You
I
gave
think
that to
really
me,
changed my
and I
life.
read that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to
Oh
read
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Super Attractor. So
So
good.
good.
But one of the exercises in the challenge was to decide on what your sign was going to be. Like that the universe was going to give to you to kind
Yeah.
of tell you that you're on the right track, you're moving in the right direction, that the universe has your back essentially, which is
Yes.
another one of her books.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did every morning I was doing my manifesting challenge and I wrote down, okay, mine is going to be blue butterflies because I've heard, it just popped in my mind, blue butterflies.
Yeah.
And I was staying in Pismo Beach at a hotel with my husband at the time. We were on a business trip and I'd been there for a few days already. And I was walking my dog inside the hotel lobby with my husband and I hadn't talked to him about this. And all of the sudden I looked up and the wallpaper was kind of like a rainbow wallpaper that was all different colors all the way down. And at the bottom of it, there was a row of blue butterflies. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
lost it in the lobby. My husband was like, what is going on? I was like, blue butterflies. It's blue butterflies. There's blue butterflies right there. And just like hours before I had like written this down, like this was going to be my sign. And I totally forgot about it. I wasn't thinking about it at all. But I'd walked past those butterflies, I guess, for the last 3 days and I had never noticed it, but I was on a different frequency
Yeah.
that allowed me to see something that I had never
Yeah.
seen before.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to Dom why I was freaking out, but it felt really good.
Yeah.
I have this little routine that I do with my little dog Penny in the morning when I take her out, when we get up first thing and I take her out and we walk out in the morning and I always, I'm like, thank you, God, and just so thankful every morning for another day and to be healthy and, all of that. But I wait until she squats because that's my trigger to do my affirmation. And I'm open to receiving all the goodness, abundance, and love that the universe has to offer. And then I kind of go through these others. I am youthful and vibrant at any age. I have the ability to do what needs to be done. There is more than enough. Everything goes right for me. And God, allow me the resources to free my spirit and serve my purpose.
Those are good.
So I kind of go through those every morning. And then I just it's so weird. I just kind of exhale and just let it go. Just let it go, surrender and trust.
I love it. I tell myself every day, I'm wise and successful. I'm healthy and strong. I have a loving and giving heart.
Oh, I
And it's
love
kind of
that.
like how it guides me. And then another thing that I started recently, probably like 6 months ago, is show me how good it can get.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right?
Ooh, I
Because
really
I
like that
read
one.
that
I may
somewhere.
borrow
So
that
if
one.
I had,
Mhm.
yeah, use it. I read that somewhere. I heard it on a video. If I knew who it was, I'd give credit to them. So my apologies, but I'm using it. So that's the important thing. But show me how good it can get, because sometimes I've realized in my dreams, they're just not big enough and they're not cool enough and they don't allow for what's next. So I'll just say, hey,
Right.
just show me how good it can get. It doesn't have to be by my definition.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think sometimes we can limit ourselves in our vision, by
Totally.
stifling or not allowing ourselves to reach our full potential by exactly that, being open to receiving whatever, comes our way and jumping on it. I think so
Yeah.
many people are given opportunities that, I know myself, I'm a bit of a risk taker when it comes to business. And, in reality, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things that I've been able to do if I wouldn't have jumped on opportunities when they came before I thought through it,
Before you thought you were
because
ready.
exactly, because if I would
Yes.
have waited or said, "Oh, it's not time," or blah blah blah, I just, yes, we're going to do this, and then I just figure it out,
Figure it
along
out.
the way, you just figure it out. And if I would not, those and the ones that I think of off the top of my head, were complete game changers for my business. And I just think that the universe delivers us what they know, what we're capable of, and or maybe what we desire in our heart. And it's up to us to grab it and go with it.
Totally.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so we are coming up on our time together today, but I want to, before we move into our rapid fire questions, I want to talk a little bit more about the book. I want to know, who is it for? Who's primed to read this book right now? And where can we get our hands on it?
Okay. Well, there are hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs starting businesses every day. And the fortunate thing is the majority of those are women. So
Oh,
that
we love
excites
that.
me to no
We love
end.
that.
Hmm.
But the reality is the book was not written to be female centric necessarily. And actually, oddly, I think the first several people that read it were all men. And the feedback was really, really incredible, probably more so than I thought. But it's for anyone that has a dream and a desire and a passion to do something, but they're on the proverbial fence. They are second
Mm.
guessing themselves. They're saying, do I stay safe or do I go all in? And
Mm,
that's the key. But the flip side of it is anyone who just is in need of a little bit of inspiration and maybe a little swift kick in the butt of hope. You know, sometimes we all need it given to us and a swift kick as opposed to just a quiet. Sometimes you just need to be shook into
Yeah.
possibility and
mhm.
opportunity and knowing that there's potentially a better tomorrow. So that's what I'm hoping this is.
And we'll definitely drop links in the show notes where you can connect with Tiffany and grab the book.
Okay, Tiffany, rapid fire. All right, question number one. What was one of your childhood nicknames?
Oh, one of my childhood nicknames. Well, everybody always called me Tiff.
Tiff.
So, I mean, Tiff,
Straight
that
to the
was
point.
that.
Yeah,
Yes, straight, easy peasy.
easy peasy. All right. When you've had a day, you've done interviews, you're launching books, you've
Yes.
got your team, what's your go to lazy dinner?
Oh, always, without a doubt, pizza.
Mm.
Always.
Yeah.
That is my comfort food. I have had a really
Yeah.
challenging day.
Mhm.
It just makes me happy. It brings me joy. I don't know why. I I don't know why. But we even did our book launch in New York City. Anybody could have done it at a bookstore and, Barnes and Noble, it was set up to do it. And I'm like, no, I really want to do something different. So we did it at Ray's Pizza. and
There you
Oh
go.
my gosh,
and Ray, the
Ray's.
king of New York City pizza,
Yes.
he's 87. He
Oh my
actually
gosh.
showed up and it was like the coolest thing
That's
ever.
so
The
cool.
So,
OG.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
Pizza, we agree wholeheartedly.
yeah.
Okay. Hot or iced coffee?
Oh, hot.
Hot. Okay. I'm the
Yes.
same way. Candace is an iced coffee girl. She loves her iced coffee.
Ah, okay.
Yep. Okay. What is the best non curse word, one word insult?
Oh,
Yeah.
best non curse word, one word insult.
hmm For example, I love
Mhm.
to use the word moron. I'm like, don't be such a moron. Candace's abuelita. Candace, you want to share?
She says, "You crumb." That's like the worst thing you could call someone is a crumb,
You're just like
apparently. We've heard things like basic or generic.
generic.
I don't
uh,
know. It's that Tiffany is so light and joyful.
I
She never has
know,
any negative
right?
thoughts.
I know. We should have skipped
well,
this.
it's not that I don't have negative thoughts. I can't think of, I'm sure there's a word, but I can't think of a word that, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
struggling
That's
with
No
that
okay.
one.
worries.
Well,
No
hey,
worries. It always gets
we're
people.
always about keeping it real. Okay. Next question. What makes you nervous?
Ooh, rapid fire questions. No,
We've heard
just
that
teasing.
before
We have
too.
heard that.
Yes.
No, 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 no. What makes me nervous is every time I start to feel fear about something, like something is happening or about to happen. And, oddly, I don't get fearful anymore, like to go on stage to speak or things like that. I've overcome that fear. So I'm good there. But when I'm about to do anything that's outside of my comfort zone or doing it for the first time, and you start to feel that little bit of unrest, that to me is when I kind of know that I I
You're feeling
just
it.
need to, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that I
Okay.
need to plow through that crap.
hmm Evolve through it, like you said. I love that phrase
Yeah.
that you used earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, crap would probably be my word going
Oh,
back
Crap
a
there you
few
go.
is your
questions. Yeah, I do
okay.
say that a lot.
Okay. Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh,
This can be timeless,
guy?
by the way.
Oh, well, huh. There's actually, so my well, I kind of like Ryan Reynolds.
Mm,
I've
Oh
always
yeah.
thought he was just a cutie pie.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, but now I'm into this crazy Taylor and Travis love story
Oh,
unfolding. And
Oh
I'm not,
yeah.
I haven't even, I like her music, but I'm
yeah.
not a Swiftie per se.
hmm
But I really enjoy, her music. But just watching it all unfold, and I like his chiseled jawline, and he's an Ohio boy,
Oh,
I'm
there we
from
go.
Ohio.
We love
Yeah.
that.
So I'm watching this all
I
unfold,
love a
and I'm like,
beard.
this is
The
what we need
scruff.
as a
Yeah.
Hmm.
yes, I love scruff. Oh my
hmm
god, I
Oh
love
my
scruff.
gosh. Me too.
But what is it about the
I
scruff?
don't. It's like
But
some
I don't know.
primeval
Yeah.
caveman type of thing that's still in our DNA
yeah.
somewhere. That's my guess.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. But I feel like I feel like I'm crushing on that dynamic because I think we just all kind of need that. We need to see like a good old American love story that is ours, that's, kind of Beckham like, but ours, and that we can watch unfold. That's, just it's just sweet. It's just sweet. And for all the naysayers out there, just enjoy it. That's,
Enjoy the moment.
it's beautiful. Isn't that what we all desire?
It seems to be like a very wholesome quality about their love, or at least
Yeah.
that's what it comes off as. I love that. Yeah.
We'll just
I love
see.
it.
We'll
Yeah, I
see.
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Last two questions. So our clever crew knows that Candace is often at an airport. She's got an airport obsession. She's got her airport fit check. So Tiffany, we know you are a jet setter and now a renowned author. Your airport arrival time, is it 2 hours before takeoff or 2 minutes? Please don't let me down here, Tiffany.
Well,
Your answer.
I would. I feel like I'm on The Price is Right, and I'm about to choose a dollar, um, because I would say 1 hour always for our airport. I am 1 hour before
Okay.
always,
1 hour.
and that's how I plot. Yeah,
Okay. So we split the difference.
Okay, but like 1 hour before takeoff or 1 hour before boarding, because those are two different things.
1 hour before boarding.
Okay.
Because
See,
I'm always afraid that my
that's very
luggage isn't
early.
going to get
It's
on,
very
you know.
early.
So
It's okay. Tiffany, we got one in my column. It's okay, Tiffany. Many of the recent guests we've got on here, they're like, no, I just walk right onto the plane. I'm like, but how could you? Anyway. All right. Last question. You may not
Yes.
yet know this about me, but I'm a huge Marvel nerd and fan of the comics. Yes. Again, the stories, the heroes, all of that. So if you were to have a superpower as a superhero,
Oh,
what would you want your superpower to be?
oh, I I would love to be able to spin like Wonder Woman and change my clothes.
Change the outfit.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Candace,
I
you must
it.
love that one.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
into my, power pose, into whatever it is.
Yeah.
But just the ability to just do a little twisty twist and
Yeah.
enjoy, that little
Yeah.
spin. And then all of a sudden, voila, you're
Like
ready.
Glenda, the Good Witch. Is that what she does on The Wizard of Oz? She
think
spins
so.
and then she has like this beautiful dress.
Like
Yes.
the bottom.
Yeah.
And she
yeah.
appears with her. Yeah, I want that one.
I want that. Yeah.
All right. Well, the universe has logged this request. So we'll be on the lookout for the
good.
paper bag or the plastic bag. Pardon me.
Okay.
Oh, and
Right.
those are our questions for the day. Rapid fire. Thank you so much, Tiffany. It was such a joy to have you on here with us.
Well, thank you. The joy was all mine. You guys are amazing, and it was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow our podcast wherever you listen to audio.
And if you found today's episode valuable, please share it with your friends.
No gatekeeping here. Remember, we love to see our clever crew grow.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.